I'm 2 minutes late. You all have to give a pregnant woman some grace. How's everybody doing out there? Whoopsies. How's everybody doing today? I'm so excited to talk to you guys. Let's see here. I had to start a few minutes late today because I've been running around. Future and Ciara have been turned up. Future's Zoom classes have been going like normal. Ciara has been her energetic 2-year-old going on 3 in like a week and a half self. I've also been planning for her birthday party. Russ and I have been planning for her birthday party, so we're going to have a nice quarantine party. I'm excited for that. I know some of you guys also saw me talk about my nails, me taking my my gel nails off. My tips are gone. Not too bad, right? I know you guys saw my longer length, but now I had to cut them down. I had to basically snip them because, as you all know, when you take off your gel nails, they're really brittle. So, yeah. But anyways, I'm going to be putting on my tips soon. Tips are coming. Can you pass me those tips right there, too? My nail tips. Thank you. Can't find it? Oh, thank you. Nail tips are coming on soon. I'm excited about these. I've never had to do this before, but when in quarantine, you make it happen. I had to make me some French tips. And like my classic tan color that I always like wearing. So we will see how that goes as well. And she gave me some options so I could have all the right fits, all the right nail fits. Anyways, so today what I did, which was really fun, is I asked for questions from some of my fans, some of you guys, from all my fans, and some of my fans also submitted their thoughts over to the Beauty Marks Entertainment page. So I wanted to share with you guys one of the questions that I got that I thought was really cool. And if you guys have any more questions, just put them up in the question box and I'll talk about them. But today's topic or conversation that was very intriguing to me is Catherine Picks asked, she said, for Women's Wednesday, can you, Ciara, talk about the importance of women having financial independence? Does she have any advice on the best ways to budget, save, and invest? So I really, really love this question because I really do believe that I can speak for myself. Out of all my years that I've been doing what I've been doing and have been blessed to have a job, starting at like, I'd say 15, 16 years old. And even prior to that, I think some of you guys know that the way that I made money, I never really had a proper, legit 9 to 5 clock in kind of job. But my way that I made money before I was who I was is I used to do hair in the neighborhood. And I used to make like $5 a head, $10 a head, $15 a head, sometimes $20, $25 a head. That was how I made money. And then I also had a cool opportunity to work at the Atlanta Braves Stadium to make, I think like $50 a day we were making, which is pretty good. I was really young, early teens, but I never really had a proper job, and where I was also responsible for taxes and all that stuff, prior to me doing what I do now, where I'm responsible for all that stuff. But basically, I really like that question because something that I really felt early on in my life, as a woman especially, is financial independence. I've really been a big believer in this, and I always, I remember my first my conversation with my first accountant, who was the sweetest soul. One of the best things that we talked about at a very early age was having a 401k plan and things like that. And obviously, if you're not talking to financial advisors, sometimes you just don't know these things. But I really took heed to that, and I held on to that from that age. I started at an early age, and I'm going to talk about all that today. I have some notes that I wrote down for you guys. But going back to the topic, the financial independence is so important, I think, for all of us. But I really feel like as a woman, we're empowered, when we have financial independence. I can say that through all my transitions in my life, when I've had to like literally be on my own and figure it out, even when I was really young, that was always my strength. And it was a good feeling to never have to worry in that regard. But I will tell you, it did take effort. It did take me being intentional about my finances. It also took me being realistic about my finances, not putting the cart before the horse. Even though I really wanted to do really big things, I was realistic about where I was. And I'm like, okay, I really want to be able to buy this type of car or this type of house. And as much as I want to get these things, I know I could be creative and create plans to make those things happen. But if I do those things, are they going to harm me? Is the harm going to be immediate? Like, will it be immediate or will it be indefinite? Because we all know, the idea of debt is a real thing. And sometimes we put the cart before the horse because we really want this, like all these like nice things, and we want to do all these fancy things, and we want to have, the fancy car and the fancy house. And it's like, what I realize and what I kind of conditioned my mind to think is that all those things can really wait. And a lot of times, we got to really focus on the things that we need versus the things that we want. And I think that having that philosophy is like, do I really need like this Chanel bag? Do I really need like this Gucci jacket? Like, I want it, but do I really need it? Like, what's going to be the damage? Like, that's the question I think we have to ask ourselves. With anything that we invest in, any purchase that we make. But the financial independence, I will say, as a woman, was always important to me. And there was no better feeling than knowing that in a transitional moment in my life, I was going to be okay. So I think it's a blessing when it's a blessing when you have a partner that holds it down and has his own. I think that's important too. And it's great when someone wants to love you and, take care of you. And that's also really sweet. And it's great when a man has that mentality. But I will also say, I do believe that financial independence is important. And also too, because it's also cool when you can do things for your partner as well, or when you're able to reciprocate, even if it's not even a relationship, if it's a business, meeting, or if it's just things that you do, like you want to be able to have your own and hold it down. What's that song that I think is it Jamie Foxx, Neo? I think it's Fabulous. She got her own, like that. I think that that song is actually like a cool song that kind of talks about this. So financial independence, I think, is really important for all of us, man and female, but I will speak to my ladies in particular. I think it's an attractive thing too. Obviously, I'm not chatting with a guy, but I love to hear a guy's perspective on that. Please comment down here if you can. But I think there's something really attractive about that. That's, just being independent is attractive as well. Now, you can't be so independent that you're like, you step over people, or you don't allow them to feel empowered too. But I think that being independent is a very, very powerful thing, and it's a necessity, I think. So what I wrote down here for you guys, I just said that, which I kind of talked about. Yes, financial independence is very important. And again, you also have to I think sometimes you can look to your right and your left and wish that you're doing or being what you see somebody else doing. But the reality is you got to run your own race at your own pace. I think that's really important. Again, like sometimes you're like, I want to have this, I want to have all these things right now. But the reality is that, when it's your time to get what you're supposed to get, you're going to get it. And you got to be patient for that and know that. And that's whether it's financially, whether it's, your life desires, the things you want to have, the tangible things, run your own race at your own pace. There's been times where I've been like, I wanted to have something a certain way. I wanted to be able to do things a certain way, and I couldn't do it when I wanted to do it, and I believe there's a reason for everything, and there's a season for everything. And the blessing for me was like, I learned lessons along the way. And then those things that I desired to have, I stayed focused. I had goals. I stayed committed to those goals, and all the things that I desired actually happened for me, but at a time that I was ready and a time that was perfect for me. So, I want to say that as well. Let me see who's down here. That's God's timing. That's exactly it. Let me see if I got some commentary going on. let me see here. Okay. So then the next thing that I was going to say is, oh, that's a good one. Okay, I want to talk about that one. All right. So the next one I want to say, I'll come back to that. But the next one I talk about is, I think I've said this already, is having flexibility. I wrote here, you have flexibility by, not having to call on others, not having to ask for handouts. And, I think that's such a great feeling, right? When you don't have to, I love being able to give, right? I always want to be a place where I can give and not have to be like, I need. That's just something that I've kind of set within myself. That's my own personal goal that I've set, my own personal standard and goals that I've set within myself. I'd rather be in that place. And then I also said here, I think I said this earlier, to focus more on your needs versus your wants. A lot of things that we think we want or think we need, we don't need. A lot of things are temporary, especially the materialistic things, they're temporary. We look nowadays on Instagram and all these different social channels, and we see everybody rocking. Sometimes you see girls can post up Chanel bag, Chanel hat, Chanel from my head to my toes, which is cool. I'm not knocking that, girl. Be fly all day. But again, don't be distracted, where you feel you have to be under the pressure of being that girl. Be confidently you. You can go to Zara and still be super fresh from head to toe. I am that girl. So I know I can say I'm blessed with, what I do and what I have, but I am the girl that goes high, low. If you guys are my fans, you guys know that. I think, you wear the clothes don't wear you. That has to always be kind of your attitude. But don't be distracted and caught up in Mrs. Jones and what she's doing, you can be fly with the simplest things. You don't have to have everything be designer all the time. And if you can do designer all the time, do it, but again, I think it's important for people to think that way. And then I also said here, budgeting. I think budgeting is so, I've learned the true value of budgeting. I always say that you can't get where you want to ultimately get to in life without a compass. And I think you have to apply that to everything that you do with budgeting. You allow yourself to kind of know the world you're going to play in financially. You kind of allow yourself to set boundaries that are necessary, so you don't get crazy. What is your pie? What is your financial pie like? How are you, are you able to do the 3-month projections or the 6 months projections or the 1 year projection? You kind of want to be able to have those markers that you grow to, where it's again, what are your needs versus your wants? Eliminate the things that you don't need, and, have a balance, in your portfolio, the basic things you need to survive, have that budgeted out, knowing what your income is, understanding that per month, and make sure that your things that you need versus your wants are all clear. You're always covering your needs. Always cover your needs. And then if you budget properly and you're consistent, then you can see the things that you'll be able to get, all your wants you'll be able to get. So again, budgeting I think is really important as well. And that has worked out for me in a great way, especially when you have different businesses that you're running. Being an artist, I like to be creative. And now being a CEO of my own record label, I have to sometimes take off my creative hat and put on my business hat until, as much as the artist in me wants to do this really creative, extravagant video, and I want to do, get all these cool, things that will help the creativity, I also have to put my business hat and be like, okay, slow down, trim it down. Your video budget is this. Your photo shoot budget is that. I have to set limitations on myself even now. And I think that when I look at the most successful people that I admire and really, look up to, they're very smart about they're very smart about their finances. They're not reckless. They're not like buying everything all over they're not buying everything recklessly. They're not just like, oh, get that. And then if they can say, get that, they still have kind of like they know what they're playing with. They know exactly what they're doing when they're having fun. So I think budgeting is so important. And then I say the 401k plan. I want to encourage all you guys to get a 401k plan if you have. And of course, this time is really tough right now. So I think what will be really important is if someone's really being impacted by COVID-19 financially, I think you have to really sit down and try to think about how you can see the next few months of your life flowing. Like, you got to be able to really sit down, be smart, be realistic, think about things you may need to adjust so that you can survive this time. And then when you get on your feet, get that 401k plan going. I think that's really important. And again, I started mine when I was really young, but the ultimate goal is we want to have that security when we say, I'm done working. It's been great. We want to have that security. So I want to encourage you guys to do that as well. Someone said I've been horrible at shopping, but I've been blessing people also. That is a good thing, to be able to bless people and then work on your shopping budget. Let me see. So funny. Someone said, my mama always said, don't go broke trying to impress the broke people. So funny. Don't be caught up on somebody else's block, worried about what they got going on. Make your block hot how it's supposed to be hot for you. And sometimes people be making things look real good and it don't be all, So anyways, but let me see here. I also wrote this out. I said, you want to have an end goal. You want to have, an end goal, big picture goal. Like, what is your ultimate, goal for yourself? Do you have a salary? Do you have a salary goal? Sorry, guys, I need some water. Mm-hmm. Do you have a salary goal? For me, I'll look at my years and I'll say, this year, it's my goal to meet this mark financially. I like to set goals because it allows me to know what I'm working towards. It helps me when I'm making financial decisions. Like, I'm being smart about my budgets. I'm being smart about how I'm doing things. And so I think the key is that, oh gosh, what you want to do is, in my world, it's probably a bit more unique because I have different businesses. But I think if I wasn't living life this way, I still would have a salary goal. I would still know what I'm trying to get to. Like, what is your salary goal? Like, your salary goal helps you determine the job that you want to go after. Your salary goal just kind of gives you a working place. Like, it gives you a place to look to, right? Maybe you may not make that mark the first year, but at least you're having a place to point to that you want to ultimately get to. And then you have to make sure all your decisions that you make affect the output. Oh, sorry, guys. Ay. Sorry. I'm sweating from coughing. Pregnant life. But then going back to what I was saying, is that when you set your goal that you're trying to get to, you have a working place. Like, you have a starting point. Like, okay, I know where I'm trying to get to. Therefore, every decision I'm going to make is going to ultimately be, the hopes is that I'm going to be able to get closer to that place. Like, I think that's kind of like anything in life. Like, when you set goals with anything in life, whether it's personally, what you want for yourself, whether it's your work goals, whatever it is, when you set those goals, you've now given yourself and empowered yourself with a compass that will help you get closer to where you ultimately want to be. And then that helps you weed out all the bull junk. Like, it helps you weed out all the stuff that doesn't matter, the stuff that's going to impede your process to getting there. It helps you really trim out all that extra stuff that's unnecessary to, simplify things. Like, I think that's one thing I could think of is how do we simplify things? Sometimes we make life so complicated when it doesn't have to be. And so when you set those goals, you really simplify things. Like, within one moment of writing down goals, you really kind of make life a little less complicated, and you create some clarity and you give yourself some focus. So those are a few things that I want to say to all that. As far as financial independence goes, I think it's really dope when us ladies can hold it down on our own. I think it's attractive. Like I said, I think it's fun. We can also do things for others. I do get excited personally when I'm able to, do nice things for my hubby. It makes me feel good. I feel like I'm like doing something. Like I feel like I'm creating my own. I feel like I have my own identity as a woman. Like what being able to be financially independent. So that was what today's conversation was about. And as far as investing goes, I would say talk to your point person at your bank, or find the right financial investment company that's best for you and where you are, and take time, put an effort. I think that's important, to put an effort to learn, to educate yourself, and then to empower yourself to ultimately make the best decisions that's going to give you the best end goal. Like that's going to get you to your end goal. That's going to give you the best end result, so that you can live life how, you desire and deserve. What else do we have before I get up off of this thing? Got some questions here. Okay, this person says here, can you invest in my, how are you going to give? What you guys talking about? Think about everything you have is change. Think about where you guys at? Hey, what do you think about someone said here, what do you think about taking this question? What do you think about taking loans in general? I don't like loans. I am actually the kind of person that if I don't need to ask for something, I ain't doing it. No, but in this case, I'm afraid. I don't like debt. I'm really afraid of debt. Just to be honest, that's something that motivates me to really go out and get it. I never want to be in that place of like being in debt. And I do feel like if you are in a place where you're in debt, you got to set those goals to get out of it as soon as you can. That's never fun to have that weight on your back, and then again, you got to make decisions that will allow you to position yourself to get out of that debt as soon as you can, and to never be back in that place. Hold on, let me see what's happening here. Let's see. All right, next question here. Let me see. What else you guys got? Someone said salary goal. I love it, but as a newly graduated student, do you limit yourself? Of course you limit yourself. I think that, again, as a newly graduated student, you want to also be thinking about what your ultimate goals are for yourself and where you're trying to get to, and think about it on a personal level, think about it on a professional level, so you can be intentional, because now you're in the real world. And if there's a time when you need to limit yourself, the time is now, because, the world moves so fast. And I mean, the time is now as far as like you being a newly graduated student. And then obviously being in this crazy time we're living in with COVID, you want to really be smart about your decisions. And again, think of your needs versus your wants. I think that's so important. It's so easy to be distracted, and don't feel pressure from someone else that, maybe living life a certain way, or like seeming like they're turned up and everything is all good and fabulous. And that's great. But you really want to live within your own means. Like, I think that's the best thing that we could do, is be confidently us, be confidently who you are, and know that you're going to get to where you ultimately want to get to. You may not be where the person to your right or your left is, or where you aspire to be, but you're going to get there. And you got to believe in that and have faith in that. Let me see here. What's our next question here? Someone says, I'm working on my credit. Do you feel that is also important? Of course. I think it's very important. I can't lie. I was kind of one of those ones that from day one, when I was young, I always took pride in having good credit, having great credit. All those things. Again, it goes back to financial independence. Like, I just always wanted to make sure I was good financially. And so it is very important. It also allows you to get a lot of other things, and, certain type of, allows you to get the highest level of, have the highest level of access, and whether it's a certain kind of, credit card that you want to have, a level, or, all that good stuff, or you want to make, purchases of a certain magnitude, having that good credit score is key. Let me see here. All right, here we go. Okay. What's my next question? All right, what's the next one, guys? Let me see, salaries, other lowest paid jobs in there. I don't know, DMS. Okay. Well, let me see. What else do we have here? Oh, it'd be so good. I love that. Someone asked me about doing a feature with Anita Elbers, my professor from Harvard. That would be amazing. I think that'd be really cool to do that too. She's pretty phenomenal. Ooh. Okay, here. Ooh, someone said tithe or not to tithe. I believe in tithing. I think tithing is so good if you can do it. I feel like it's my way of giving back, because I'm also giving back to the pastors that bless me and essentially bless others by being able to have a facility to give the word. I think it's really important. And for me, I feel like I'm honoring God's word as well. And tithing feels good. You can't be just crazy and just, you gotta have your balance right, as far as when you're, giving in that capacity. But I really believe in tithing. Kelly Rowland's in the building. She said, "You know how I feel about tithing." Kelly, you got to, Miss Coffee Queen. First of all, can we just tell Kelly how amazing she looks in her coffee video? Why is she just so beautiful? And she works hard on her body, y'all. Okay, I hope I said that right. But she is a hardworking mama that gets it done. So I just have to say that I'm really proud of her, because she never ceases to amaze me on how committed. No, I'm just keeping it real, Kelly. Kelly, she is a phenomenal woman, and I'm so proud of her. Her video coffee is super hot. If you guys haven't seen it, it's just, I don't even know what you want to say. It's coffee. It's that, I don't know. It's everything. It's beautiful. It's powerful. It's that sexy chocolate. It's just amazing. I'm just so proud of Kels, she's a queen, and she's showing us how to do it. I don't know. I'm just saying, I just love it. So, I know somebody said it's everything. But yes, I had to go on that rant for a second, because if you guys haven't seen the video, it's just dripping in all kinds of just flavors of just good chocolate coffee. Ooh. I love you, Kels. But she said here, we were talking about tithe or not to tithe. And I will say, Kelly and I have talked about tithing. And we have talked about, how much it means to us. And it is, it's really real. Like, I do feel like you bless your life when you tithe. You bless the people that put into you when you tithe. Put into you by giving God's word. It's a good feeling. So I enjoy it as well. And, I've been committed to it. I can say I've leveled up my tithing game. I've been consistent with it, and I'm really proud of it. Let me see. Oh, let me see here. What else we got? All right, guys. Let's see anything else popping here. Let me see here. All right, guys. This was good stuff. I hope you guys had as much fun as I had chatting with you all. About financial independence. I think it's so important for us to be financially independent. Ladies, I'm just saying, I think we kind of level up our sexy when we're able to take care of ourselves and able to take care of our men sometimes too. Like, being able to do nice things for them is fun. Oh, thanks, Scales. I think it's important, for us to be able to be all right. And then when you're in transitions and, whether it's you in your single mom phase, whether it's you're in your relationship transition phase where you're trying to figure it out on your own, it's just no better feeling than being able to do for yourself and take care of yourself and not need anyone else. Hope you guys enjoyed that chat today. And I love you guys. Shout out to my sister Kelly for hopping on here. But again, I'm going to close it out and say you guys go check out Coffee, because I think it's important that we close out with that sweet music note there. The video and the song is amazing, and I'm so proud of you, Kels. And I love you guys. And financial independence is hot. So you level up when you are financially independent. So I love you guys. I hope you have fun with me today. I'll see you all on next Women's Wednesdays. Hula Women's Wednesdays. Okay.